For most fruit trees, planting is the beginning of a long wait. Seasons pass, branches grow, and years can disappear before the first harvest arrives. But what if one remarkable tree could break that rule, growing from a young plant into a fruit-producing tree in an astonishingly short time? Plant a mango tree and you may have to wait several years before seeing your first serious harvest. Apple trees can take even longer. Guava is relatively fast, but it still does not compete with some tropical plants when it comes to speed. But there is one remarkable fruit-producing plant that seems to ignore the normal rules of fruit trees. It can shoot upward at an incredible rate, produce flowers within only a few months, and under the right conditions, begin producing edible fruit in roughly 6 to 12 months. That plant is papaya. And here is the first surprise. Technically, papaya isn't even a true tree. It's a giant herbaceous plant, which means that the tall trunk-like structure you see is not a conventional woody tree trunk. Instead, the plant grows rapidly from a central growing point, producing enormous leaves and fruit along its stem. So what makes papaya so much faster than many familiar fruit trees? The answer begins with its biology. Traditional trees spend years building thick woody trunks, complicated branches, deep root systems, and long-lasting structures before investing heavily in reproduction. A mango tree, for example, may spend years developing its framework before producing fruit, especially when grown from seed. Papaya takes a completely different approach. It grows rapidly, stays relatively soft and herbaceous, and begins its reproductive cycle early. Under good conditions, well-cared-for papaya plants can begin producing flowers around 4 months after planting, with fruit appearing around 7 to 11 months after planting. In some situations and varieties, fruiting can occur within 6 to 12 months. That means a papaya planted at the beginning of the year could potentially be producing fruit before the year is over. Now, compare that with the banana plant, another tropical speed champion. Bananas are also incredibly fast-growing, and they can produce a harvest in roughly 9 to 12 months after planting. But there is another fascinating similarity. Bananas are not true trees either. What looks like a trunk is actually a pseudostem made from tightly packed leaf sheets. After producing its bunch, the main pseudostem dies back, while new shoots emerge from the underground structure. So if our question is simply, which fruit-producing plant can give you food fastest, both papaya and banana deserve attention. But if we specifically ask which plant behaves most like a rapidly growing fruit tree, papaya becomes one of the strongest candidates. And this is where the comparison gets even more interesting. Imagine 4 seeds planted at roughly the same time: mango, guava, banana, and papaya. The mango may still be concentrating on building a permanent woody structure, while the papaya is already developing flowers and fruit. Guava is faster than many traditional fruit trees, particularly when propagated from established plants, but it generally does not match papaya's extraordinary speed from planting to first harvest. Banana can compete closely with papaya, but its growth structure and fruiting cycle are completely different. Meanwhile, mango is famous for its delicious fruit, but is usually a long-term investment. A mango grown from seed can take around 5 to 8 years to begin fruiting, although grafted trees can fruit much sooner. But speed alone does not explain the papaya's success. Its leaves are enormous, and those leaves act like solar panels, capturing sunlight and converting it into energy through photosynthesis. In a warm, sunny environment, the plant can continuously manufacture the energy and building materials needed for rapid growth. This is why sunlight is so important. Papaya performs best with plenty of direct sun, warm temperatures, adequate moisture, and soil that drains well. Give the plant heat, light, water, nutrients, and enough space, and it can transform from a small seedling into a tall fruit-producing plant surprisingly quickly. But take away one of those essentials, especially warmth or drainage, and the speed can drop dramatically. There is another unusual feature hidden in the papaya plant: its flowers and reproductive system. Papayas can be dioecious, meaning some plants produce male flowers while others produce female flowers. However, many cultivated varieties are hermaphroditic, meaning a single plant can carry flowers capable of producing fruit. This is extremely important for home gardeners because planting one random seed does not always guarantee a fruit-producing plant. Depending on the variety, several plants may be grown initially so that the grower can identify productive plants later. Modern cultivated types have made this much easier, but the reproductive biology of papaya remains one of the most fascinating parts of the plant. And once the plant starts producing, it doesn't necessarily stop after one harvest. A healthy papaya can continue producing flowers and fruit over an extended period when environmental conditions remain favorable. University of Florida guidance notes that well-cared-for plants can produce roughly 60 to 80 pounds of fruit over a 12-month period, although actual production varies depending on climate, weather, variety, and care. This is one reason papaya is so attractive in tropical and subtropical regions. Instead of waiting years for a large woody tree to mature, growers can establish a rapidly growing plant that starts producing relatively early. However, there is an important warning. Fast growth does not mean effortless growth. Papaya is sensitive to environmental problems, and its rapid growth creates a high demand for water and nutrients. It needs well-drained soil, because constantly waterlogged roots can cause serious problems. It also needs strong sunlight for good production. Spacing matters as well, because a crowded plant can compete for light, water, and nutrients. And because papaya has a relatively soft, tall structure, strong winds can become a serious threat. This is why the fastest-growing fruit plant is not necessarily the easiest plant to grow everywhere. Climate determines everything. In a warm tropical region, papaya can look almost unstoppable. In a cold climate, the same plant may struggle or die completely. So, is papaya officially the fastest-growing fruit tree in the world? The answer needs a little honesty. There is no universal scientific ranking that crowns one plant as the single fastest fruit tree, because growth rate depends on species, variety, climate, soil, propagation method, and what exactly we mean by fastest. Are we measuring height, time to flowering, time to first fruit, total yield, or growth from seed to harvest? By the measurement that matters most to a home grower, how quickly can I go from planting to eating my own fruit, papaya is certainly among the most impressive choices. Its ability to begin flowering within months and produce fruit in roughly 7 to 11 months under good conditions puts it far ahead of many conventional fruit trees. And perhaps the most fascinating part of this story is that papaya teaches us something bigger about plants. We often imagine that the biggest and strongest plants must be the fastest, but nature doesn't work that way. A massive mango tree can live for decades while taking years to reach reproductive maturity. Papaya chooses a completely different strategy. Grow rapidly, reproduce early, and take advantage of warm tropical conditions. Banana follows a similar high-speed strategy, producing fruit in roughly 9 to 12 months, but then replacing the fruiting pseudostem with new shoots. So if you live in a warm climate and dream of growing your own fruit without waiting half a decade, papaya may be one of the most exciting plants to consider. From a tiny seed, it can become a tall, leafy, fruit-producing plant in a surprisingly short time. And the next time you see a papaya tree, or what looks like a tree, remember what is really happening. You are not looking at a slow-growing wooden giant preparing for a distant future. You are looking at one of nature's rapid growth specialists, converting sunlight into leaves, flowers, and fruit at remarkable speed. And that is what makes the papaya so extraordinary. It may not be a true tree, but when it comes to turning a small seed into a fruit-producing plant, few plants can compete with its incredible speed. So, if you had to choose between waiting years for a traditional fruit tree or growing a tropical fruit plant that could potentially reward you within the same year, which one would you choose? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the strange and fascinating secrets hidden in everyday nature, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more.